According to my community poll, Scandinavia in the world's at 48%, Hetalia is at 38%, and CountryHumans is at 13%. We got 60 votes in here. So Hetalia has like 25% more votes than not Scandinavian world, but CountryHumans, and Scandinavia in the world has 10% more votes than Hetalia, which honestly I'm very proud of all of you. Not all of you chose Scandinavia in the world, but not all of you chose CountryHumans either, which is better. That's good. Not a lot of you should choose CountryHumans because I think CountryHumans is a toxic cesspool, just like Hetalia was in 2012, and Hetalia is definitely not better, which is why Scandinavia in the world is the correct option. Since you're still here, I'm assuming that you probably want an actual answer, or at the very least, an explanation, which is fine with me, but I'm just assuming that you already know what Hetalia or CountryHumans is. But in case you don't, which is likely if you're not interested in history or toxic fandoms, let me break it down for ya. Both Hetalia and CountryHumans are compared to each other, which is laughable. I know that the two might seem very similar at first, but I can tell you right now that as someone who has attempted to escape from the Hetalia fandom twice and mingled with the CountryHumans fandom occasionally, they're both very, very different. For one, you can take the country out of the humans in Hetalia, but you cannot take the country out of the humans in CountryHumans. I know that this seems like a very, very minor thing, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, it's actually a very big thing. Because from perusing the CountryHumans catalog of fanfiction, I can already tell you that any immersion that you would have gotten from a fanfic that takes place in a high school is just thrown out the window. Yes, I know, it seems a bit ridiculous to be ranting about CountryHumans high school fanfictions, but you should realize that fanfictions are one of the most popular outlets in a fandom, and if your fandom doesn't have fanfictions, is it really alive? Is it really a fandom if it doesn't have any fanfictions? Yes, it is, because you can still make fan art and AMVs and marriage. Now, fanfictions on its own, I don't care. I really don't care. You can take like America and Canada from Hetalia and throw them in an ice hockey rink or something. But the thing about that is that in Hetalia, when they do these modern non-country things, usually what they would do is they would take the human names of the countries instead of the actual country names that they have. Which is why for CountryHumans, I think it's a bit sus if you're writing a fanfiction that doesn't take place in the setting that they're supposed to take place in, and you're just turning them into humans that have history. Because I've read a CountryHumans fanfiction, which was okay. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was well written, but it's just not good. Well, because they're countries, but they made them humans. What they would do to give these characters some depth or some background is that they would take colonizers, for example, and turn them into ex-boyfriends. Philippines, ex-boyfriend. Spain. I know it just sounds like I'm shitting on the CountryHumans fandom, but I'm just pointing out that maybe it's not such a bright idea to be involved in this fandom, because stuff like this is ordinary. This is like normal to them. You see art like whatever this is and people aren't gonna be outraged. They're not gonna go, hey, what the fuck did you just draw? But I am not saying that Hetalia is free of sin and it's never done anything wrong. You should watch Hetalia instead. No. Because Hetalia has done some bad stuff too, okay? For example, biggest example right here, the Danish slaughterhouse. Now, if you are easily triggered, do not read this. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. Don't read this because it's everything that you don't want in a fanfiction. But I will say it is well written, which is the worst part. And of course, how could we ever forget the Nazis, right? Who could forget this? You're never gonna, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be on my deathbed, and I'm still gonna be thinking about this. But the thing is, this is also a thing in the CountryHumans fandom, but worse, because they're using fucking face paint. If there's anything worse than wearing a swastika armband, it's definitely gonna have to be face painting the swastika on your face. But the biggest problem in the CountryHumans fandom isn't the weird obsession with shipping or the swastikas in faces, but it's gonna have to be the shipping countries that have violent histories together and absolutely hate each other's guts. Like, I don't know, South Korea and North Korea, South Korea and Japan, the Third Reich and the USSR, just to name a couple. Oh, and I almost forgot, Russia and America, which is also a popular ship in the Hetalia fandom, which is not any better. But I guess in the Hetalia fandom, you could excuse it that you're just shipping Alfred and Ivan, who have nothing to do with being countries. It's just like some American dude called Alfred and some Russian guy called Ivan. That's the advantage Hetalia has over CountryHumans, I would say. It's that you can say, oh, I'm not shipping Canada and Prussia. I'm shipping Matthew and Gilbert. Or I'm not shipping China and the Philippines. I'm shipping Wang Yao and Selfie Guy. There's also a ship in Hetalia that doesn't make sense in the real world or in CountryHumans even. It's Hong Kong and Iceland. These two are being shipped together because they have similar personalities. And second of all, while both of them have had a similar problem with Nazis, Hetalia and CountryHumans, not Iceland and Hong Kong, both fandoms treated the situation differently. I've said before that Hetalia had cosplayers that wore Nazi uniforms and did Nor salutes in front of Jewish memorials, which is not a good look. It's bad. It's bad. But somehow the CountryHumans fandom managed to be worse. They managed to one-up Hetalia because when Hetalia passed them the torch and went, CountryHumans, you will now be the #1 go-to for teenage girls to ship countries with each other. CountryHumans used it to torch everything to the fucking ground. Oh, what's that? Italian cosplayers basically disrespected all the Jewish people by posing in the Dachau showers. Well, how about we sexualize the entire Nazi empire? How about we do that instead? If I had to tell you why I truly do hate the CountryHumans fandom, I would just reply with the Third Reich. There is no reason for this guy to be as popular as he is, but as where I'm standing, the Third Reich just seems to be the one that a lot of people seem to cling to, and he's like the fandom's favorite for some reason, even though there's like a lot of countries that you could choose from, and then like past and present countries, and then you had to choose this one. You had to choose this one. And it's so weird to me that they portray like Nazi Germany as this guy who's like, I'm hurt. I'm not all that evil. Even though this, what are you talking about? It's literally in his name. Now, for the record, I only see this kind of activity to the people that actually simp for the Third Reich. And believe me, there are actually people who simp for the Third Reich. And they'll explain it like, oh, well, he's just misunderstood. He was just following orders. Well, no, he wasn't. Here's the thing. Germany was just following orders. Nazi Germany was the one giving orders. Right? It's literally in his name. What do you mean he doesn't want to do it? But I guess that says a lot more about the people in the fandom than it does about the fandom itself. So I guess what we can take from this is that in the CountryHumans fandom, there are a lot of people who think that they can fix bad boys. Even though they're not really bad boys, they're more like evil boys. This entire video basically boils down to Hetalia is filled with dumbasses. CountryHumans is filled with dumbass simps. I hate to break it to you, babes, but Nazi Germany doesn't love you back. You gotta choose someone else. Which is why you should choose Scandinavia in the world, because it has no Nazis and not a lot of drama, which is always a bonus. Now, if you don't like Scandinavia in the world, leave. Or, bye-bye.